Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, and we are here doing a late night pillow talk. It's actually pretty late. It's almost 2 a.m. Central Time, which means that it's probably about it's almost 3 a.m. in the East Coast in the real world. So this is really more of a show for people that are night owls, or maybe you're watching the recording. But either way, we just do it when we do it, and this is a pretty lady, so I like to do it when I can. Anyway, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing pretty well considering it's the middle of the night. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yeah, I mean, despite all considering, right? Because you know that today, I don't know if it's because I opened up a Threads account or what, but literally I got up today and my whole Instagram is gone, my Facebook pages are gone, and literally we lost over 400,000 followers on Instagram today. So it's not like it's the end of the world. You have multiple platforms as a backup, but for the most part, it still kind of sucks. And actually, I'd like everybody to know we're trying a different camera setup, and I'm not so great. I'm not a techie person at all. But I want to ask, can you give me a quick confirmation that you guys can see and hear us okay? Give me a
Is there?
yes if you can.
I'm wondering if there's an echo.
Is there an echo? I think that's a good question too. I don't see there being an echo. Why? Do you hear an echo?
I do, but it's because I can hear you in the other room.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? Give me a yes if you all can hear us. Okay, if it sounds all right. If it does have a little bit of an echo or something like that, just let us know because that'll help us.
No
Okay,
echo.
Joe says no echo. Thank you, Joe. I see Joe Farrell says good morning. Kevin Burkhart out of LA. Okay, so yes means you can hear us. Okay, okay, good. Thank you, Terry Cobb and Miss Carolyn and Andre Matisse and let's see, Terry's out of Atlanta. Shout out the city you're from. Let us know what city you're from. All right, so let's okay, someone says Dr. Alicia has an echo. Okay,
I have
so
an echo. You
yeah,
should probably call. You want me to close it? You want me to close the
yeah.
door?
Well, yeah, shut your door and I'll shut mine. Maybe that'll be it. So y'all stay
Okay.
right there. We're gonna do something real
Well, my
ghetto real
door is
quick.
shut already, but
Oh, is it? Okay, okay. Well, they can actually hear me, because I can actually walk around with this microphone. So it's kind of like some podcast witchcraft going on right now. All right, so let's jump into this. So how many of y'all saw what was going on with this thing with Keke Palmer? Keke Palmer is this actress who is she's about 29 years old. She's super talented, and she did this interesting thing where she showed up with or at an Usher concert and was dancing with Usher and had on this outfit that, in the words of her boyfriend, was showing booty cheeks. And there were people who felt that, especially her boyfriend, her child's father, did not feel that that was appropriate. He kind of said, "You're a mom, though." At least that's what he said in the tweet. And a lot of people had an issue with that one way or the other. They felt like he was shaming her. They also felt but then some people agreed. Some people felt like she went over the top. And I don't know. I mean, it was interesting, and you brought it to my attention, babe. What did you think about this? Like when you saw it kind of go down?
well, I mean, first of all, as I was thinking, you're a first-time mother. And sometimes it's really difficult to make that transition from your single life, just being free and hanging out with Usher and going to Las Vegas, and making that transition to being a good mother. And sometimes it's really difficult. And I looked up, this baby was born in February. She has a 4 month old baby. So the first thing I thought about was it's very difficult for a lot of women to transition from being single to being a mother. Okay. And so maybe she's going through a little bit of an adjustment, like many of us do. The second thing I thought about was okay, you have a 4 month old baby at home that needs bonding and attachment to the primary caregiver. So it's difficult because Kiki Palmer, like many of us, we are working. We're working women, and we're moms, and we're trying to juggle our careers and our life, and at the same time, we're also trying to take care of our responsibilities at home. um, so it's almost like it's a difficult transition. So the baby needs someone to bond with as their primary caretaker. Remember, that's what's so important in that early stage of life, to create a very secure attachment. You know, Boyce, we've been talking about secure attachments with your children. And to have that secure attachment with your child, you need to have a primary caretaker, usually the mother, it could be the father, who's responsive, who's available, and who's empathetic to your needs. So it is, to
Okay.
me, it's a great illustration of just a transition, juggling all of the responsibilities of motherhood as well as her career as this actress, and she's got to get out there and she's got to be relevant, and all the pressure that a lot of women have on them to be successful in their careers but also be, you know, good as a mother. So that's how I see it. It's nothing against Keke Palmer in general. It's just I'm thinking in terms of her transition to motherhood.
Okay. Well, I'd like to do a straw poll, everybody. What do you all think? I mean, do you think that the big issue was that Keke Palmer was dancing with Usher. She had a really provocative outfit. I mean, you could see those booty cheeks, and I guess
Right.
that's the game where
Yes.
you're naked, but you're not really naked. You're not like legally naked, but you're kind of sort of naked, and you're kind of like showing everybody kind of what you got. And this kind of went against the backdrop of of other things. I know India Arie also had something to say about Megan the Stallion. Like Essence Fest, they love to show the image of Megan twerking, and then Janelle Monee pulled a boob out, and it's almost like it's like it becomes. I mean, I jokingly call it the whole Olympics, you know, where it's like this, in the whole Olympics, it's almost like it feels to me again, I'm going Uncle Boyce here on this, but in the whole Olympics, it's like a race to the bottom. It's like who can be the sluttiest, who can just really degrade themselves the most. And I see it that way to some extent. But then again, though, I don't want to be overly judgmental. I'm sure I sound that way as a 52-year-old black man talking about this, but at the same time, it's sort of like, um, I don't know. I wonder if there is something to be said about showing your talent. Hey, I don't know. What does everybody else think? Do you agree or not? Like, is there something about, class and just saying, yeah, I know I'm sexy. I'm hot. I can probably do things in the bedroom that make your toes curl, but every man ain't gonna get access to that. I'm not, there's something sacred and special about me that isn't gonna be made available to anybody who can afford a ticket to this concert. What's wrong with me saying that? And what's wrong with me saying, come on, like I don't want to see the black woman just literally be in a situation where she has to look past her own talent. Like you look at Janelle Monáe, Keke Palmer, with Megan the
Megan Thee
Stallion.
Stallion.
Yeah, these are all talented women, right? But it's almost like somebody told you that you've got to be hypersexual in order for you to compete. That you gotta, you look at Janelle in this image here, she's got her tongue out, which has obvious, it's making an obvious statement. Megan, legs wide open. So does a black woman have to appear with tongue out, legs wide open, booty cheeks rattling to get an opportunity? And what about those women who just say, I don't want to do that? Are we crowding out talented women who don't want to show all these body parts in order to be seen and to get attention? What do you think? Do you think that there's something to be said about that?
Yeah, well, I think classy is boring. And when you're trying to get all eyes on you so that you can have this fame, when you're trying to get all eyes on you, being classy and being respectable, no one's paying attention to that anymore. That's like, that's like very boring. And so I think what's happening is that there's pressure for people to pay attention to me, and to do that, remember, in media, you have to present as one of the stereotypes of black women in order for media to pay attention to you. So I think media, in order to get the attention of media, you have to make a spectacle of yourself. And then to do
Mm.
that, what they're doing is the whore stereotype. They're playing it out, and it's working because media is paying attention to them. But classy
Mm.
is boring. Raunchy is not boring.
Okay, interesting. By the way, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. Dr. Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. We created Pillow Talk because we kind of felt like the Black community could benefit from intelligent and fun conversations about things happening in our community. A lot of us don't get to hear from professors and therapists and things like that, and so we just created this podcast in hopes that there will be some other intelligent Black people out there that would want to hear these kinds of conversations. And so, by the way, Alicia's been seeing individuals and couples for the last 20 years. So if you would like to follow up and see what she does on a professional basis, just go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. That's her website. Do us a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget this podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, you can find us there. And also, in addition to that, given what happened um, with my IG pages and everything being shut down, I think it's important to be on multiple platforms and to be connected in multiple ways. So if you would like to learn more about wellness and healing and get some free support on your therapy journey, which I think everybody should think about this, just text the word wellness to 31996. You can text wellness to 31996, and that is Alicia. Alicia will send you free things over time to help you in your wellness journey, especially in areas that relate to therapy or a money mindset, things like that. She's also a financial therapist as well. So anyway, all right. So let's hop back in here. And now Renee Montgomery says we often regret it later. Clinically, I agree with Dr. Alicia as a colleague. That's a great point. Thank you, Renee Marguerite, for making your point. What is your background, Renee? Put that in the chat, and I'll share that because I really think that there's something about sort of living in this culture that's so youth driven, babe, that leads us to the point where we end up feeling or at least I do, like some people sort of look at like young people are kind of leading the charge, and any older person, like say in India Arie, who steps in. Did any of y'all see that India Arie stepped up and said, "What the hell is this? Like we're better than this. We don't have to, come out booty cheeks blazing in order to get attention." And there are people online instantly attacking her, going off, calling her a hater, calling her this and that and the other. And it's almost like it reminds me a little bit of when you had your parents that would warn you about the world, and kind of say, look, you go out here like this, you go out thugging, you go out, too fast and doing all these other things, bad things are going to happen. And you get mad because your parents are interrupting the fun. It ain't no fun to be thoughtful and intelligent, strategic about how you live your life. So you get mad until something happens, until somebody gets assaulted or something bad occurs. And you hear this, right? You hear stories, you hear so many trauma stories from so many Black women that Cardi B, trauma, 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 talking about her life as a stripper and robbing people and having to, and the drugs and the chaos and selling her body and all that. So to me, it's like it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit confusing because we are promoting on one hand a culture that is very dangerous, that's very harmful, that leads to Black women being disrespected. And then people come in and they say things like, oh, y'all tearing Black women down. Like G-Man, he says, y'all tearing down Black women. And I don't see it like that at all. I see it as we're elevating Black women. We're saying, why in the world would we promote stereotypes of Black women that we don't want people to have as stereotypes of Black women? I mean, does everybody get what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Why would you promote the image of the Black woman as a whore unless you want the world to believe the Black woman is a whore? I don't know. I mean, but I don't know if I sound rough. You know me, I'm rough around the edges. I'm not as smooth as you are. I say it like I'm thinking it, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, why would you want people like I don't go around and behave in a way that is inconsistent with how I want you to see me. I'm a scholar. I want you to see me as a scholar. So you don't see me going out here trying to be a dope dealer or a gangbanger or nothing like that. No disrespect to people in that category, but that's not the image I want to portray. So when you see me in the street, that I'm going to be a scholar. That's what I am, right? So why would we promote an image of the Black woman as a basically like a $2 hooker, like booty cheeks and vagina for anybody that can buy a ticket to the concert, twerking at every available opportunity, Janelle Monee pulling her titty out whenever she can. Um, why would we do all that unless we want people to think that this is just what Black women are? That's what they do. I don't know. What do you think?
I think India Arie is so talented. Boyce, you know, she is in my top 5 favorite artists,
I'm
right? Can
not
you
your
name?
average girl in your video. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Can
I
you
had to sing the India Arie song. And I know how much you love her. She's your top five. I know this.
She's in my top 5. And you know, my top 5 has been strong. Can you name my top 5, Boyce?
I could try. I'm gonna say I'm gonna guess Prince and Anita Baker might be in your top five.
Prince, Prince is somebody that did not compromise himself. He did
Mm.
not compromise himself. He fought with the music industry. He was all about the music. Prince, Sade is in my top 5. She's another one. She is pure talent. Prince, pure talent. Okay, he taught himself these instruments. Sade, who's the other one? Stevie Wonder. He didn't compromise himself in his music. This is true artistry. India Arie, believe it or not, is number 4 out of my top 5 in Anita Baker, right? So those are my top 5 artists. India Arie always is in my top 5 because she leans on her talent. Where are you, boys? Don't disappear.
I'm here, baby.
Come back. I want to talk to somebody.
I'm gonna be the voice of God. So go ahead.
Don't be
I'm
the
just
voice of God,
well.
but you're
Hey, I'm messing around with the
distracting
tech.
me.
Now there we go. I'm
You're
back. I'm back.
distracting me. Please
Don't
don't
get
distract
scared.
me. Okay, I need to
Don't get
talk to
attachment
a
disorder up in
person.
here. Go ahead.
Okay, so you know, so this India Arie is leaning on her talent. And it's so funny because that was sort of like the separation. Remember when she came on the scene and Alicia Keys was on the scene, like all these people, and then pretty soon it got to where, and I don't want to put Beyonce down because I'm going to the Beyonce concert next week. So I'm all excited about that. But it got to be like a split between pure artistry in terms of writing your music, knowing about your music, having it be about talent versus having it to be about flair and fluff and how much of your body you can show and gyrating. It got to move away from like even things that India Arie sings about. It's like it's got substance to it. It's intelligent, it's spiritual, it's uplifting, it's just wonderful in terms of like she's somebody who has something to say. She writes her music. But you get people like Megan the Stallion and some of these other artists. I don't even know what they got to say that's meaningful other than I'm the baddest bitch. I'm the best ever. Look at me. You know, like I don't see anything of such substance as India Arie. And it's too bad because if we had control of our own media, India Arie would be headlining the Essence Fest along with Jill Scott. Jill Scott is a good one too. She's a good one. But I really do think like it's a shame to see images that look like me, that look like my children, that look like other Black women get degraded.
Mm.
And it's not even like we have a range. It's just one note. It's like poor stereotype. That's it. Rap music, all this horror stereotype. And if you don't fit these stereotypes, I've been talking about this for years now, Boyce. Remember when we first really started going out? I've been doing my big talk about feminism, how Black women, you know, got the raw deal on the feminist movement and how media portrays all these negative stereotypes. You know, I've been talking about that for a while, but it just seems like it is just a lost battle. And really respectable people. Boyce, Keke Palmer, she played Aquila and the Bee. She was so good in that. Like a spelling contest with young Black children who were smart and won the spelling bee contest with Denzel Washington. She was in this wonderful movie. And then now she's gyrating on stage with Usher of all people, because Usher gets around. You know, with a brand new fresh baby that probably needs his mother. You know, and it's just tough. It's just I don't know. I don't know what she's thinking about. I don't know what's going on, but it's not setting a good example. And can you
Well,
imagine what we didn't even talk about what her boyfriend feels.
Mm.
I got
Well,
thoughts about that when
well,
you're ready
well,
to do that.
well, let's dive into that. And before I do that, could everybody do me a favor really quick? Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia. My doctorate's in finance. Hers is in social work, and she's a
Yes.
licensed therapist and a full professor of social work and a certified trauma specialist. And we like to try to have intelligent and fun conversations about things happening in the Black community in hopes that it'll help those of you that are looking for some guidance and information that might benefit you. And I want to say thank you, Renee Marguerite. I saw you did put your credentials in the chat like I asked because I was curious about Renee. Now I can't find Renee's comment. Here we go. Renee is in the chat. This tells you what kind of intelligent Black people are kind of hanging around. You got a lot of smart Black people out here, and I really hope everybody will pay attention instead of just thinking that the whole Black community is full of like 25-year-old entertainers that want to be gangsters and thugs and hoes and everything else. Renee is a therapist specializing in trauma, and I know you're a certified trauma professional also, Alicia.
Hmm.
And she's a producer, actor, writer. I think that's awesome. So make sure put a link to your any of your work you might have, Renee. I think that's really awesome. Anybody has a business, any work you're doing, share that with us. And also, Dr. Alicia is having a healing retreat that's going to be digital. So if you want to work with her directly and be part of that group, just go to draliciawellness.com. And also, if you just want to stay connected, you can text the word wellness to 31996. Somebody type that in the chat. Text wellness to 31996, and Dr. Alicia can send you some stuff. All right, so let me hop in and mention something. Here's a question that I ask, and it's designed to be a provocative question. Um, okay, can somebody tell me who are the top white artists in America in terms of white women? What women?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Okay, Taylor Swift just made $1 billion on her tour. She made $1 billion on her tour. Now, I'm sure Taylor Swift, works to be sexy, things like that. I think that's not a crime. But I'd like to ask y'all this question: do y'all believe that Taylor Swift does the kind of things in the kind of degrading fashion that you see some of the Black women doing? Really, I mean, if you compare pound for pound, and Taylor's making more money than all of them, right? She's, I'm sure she dwarfs their income. I've been following. I don't follow Taylor Swift, but I do follow the financials because I'm a finance PhD. That's what we do. We look at the economics of the world. I'm looking at images of Taylor, right? And so look at this. I want y'all to look at this screen. And those of you who are on Spotify, who are listening on Spotify, just look up my name, Boyce Watkins, on Spotify. You can follow the podcast there too. I'm showing images of Taylor Swift. These images are her as being kind of this pretty little white girl. She's not my type. I little too skinny for me, and ain't got enough melanin. But apparently somebody likes that. Now here's the sexiest, most provocative image that you see. But this doesn't go any further than even something Beyonce might wear. It's not you see here the beautiful evening gown, whatever that is. You see this here. Now what? In not one image do I see an image of Taylor with her tongue out, like not Janelle Monee, but like Megan and Janelle, I think. I don't see an image of her titty out. Um, I don't see any images of her booty out. I don't see any images of her twerking her non-existent booty.
She ain't got no booty, boys.
Right.
She
She
ain't
trying
got
to
no booty.
if she tried to twerk, it would be a tragedy. It'd be like shaking she would you would literally be shaking two toothpicks together. Like that's what that would be. She might start a fire if she ever tried to twerk. But seriously though, and so she ain't got the assets, that a lot of the sisters have, and so God bless y'all Black women, for being as beautiful as you are. And so what I want to do is in contrast that with say some of the top Black female artists, and I'm literally going to do a random Google search. And again, I have no idea what I'm going to see. So let me just see. I typed in Megan Thee Stallion. So I'm really trying to figure out who Megan Thee Stallion is. First off, I want everybody to understand this too. This is not me being a hater. This is me stating a fact. Does anybody know what a stallion is? What is the definition of a stallion? Does anybody know what a stallion is? This Black woman, for some reason, she's called a stallion. Um, Tell me what the definition of a stallion is. Now we know it's a horse, right? We know it's a horse, but it's a special kind of horse. It is an uncastrated adult male horse. Now process that for a minute. Now you got a Black woman, one of the top Black female entertainers in the world, in a world where Black women are being stereotyped and being criticized for being masculine and all these other and unappealing and everything else, not feminine at all, right? Pay attention now. So your number one artist, one of your top artists in the black community, is named after an uncastrated adult male horse. So not just a horse, and not just a male horse, but an uncastrated adult male horse, which means he got some big junk and he going right. I mean, I'm being anime, I want y'all to process this. Your number one or top two, three female artists has a name where she is an adult, an uncastrated adult male horse. She's a horse with a big penis who's gonna go and put his penis into anything that moves, because that's what adult uncastrated male horses do. When they're not castrated, they're trying to breed. So they're saying basically this is slavery, y'all. This is the black woman is a breeder. She's the ultimate breeder. Ain't nothing new about that, right? And I know we want to make the whole sexuality thing about liberation and expression. Ain't nothing liberating or modern or new about that. The black woman has been defined as a breeder since slavery. Ain't nothing new about it. This ain't nothing but slavery all over again. Again, am I overreacting, or what do y'all think? And it's not, somebody says it's a horse, says Jamal. No, it's an adult, it's an uncastrated adult male horse. So it's a specific kind of horse. Right? So they didn't say like a feminine, cute little filly, because she's not Megan the filly. Isn't a filly like a cute little horse? It's like kind of pretty, like you want to get with, like I could get that.
Megan
But
the pony.
yeah, right. You ain't got Megan the pony. You ain't got Megan the filly. Let me, in fact, let me. Let me just kind of Let me go to. I'm gonna go to Chat GPT and say, name 5 types of horses based on gender and sexuality. Let's see what Chat GPT says. Okay. Um, you've got Stallion, a male horse that has reached sexual maturity and has not been castrated. Again, a big male horse is going to go screw everything. You've got a gelding, a castrated male horse. So she's not Megan the gelding. They're unable to reproduce, but are often favored for their calm temperament because they ain't out here trying to get busy with everything. A mare, which is a mature female horse that is capable of reproduction. So she could be Megan the mare. Right? They can either be bred or used for riding or other purposes. A filly, a young female horse, is typically under 4 years old, so like a cute little filly, right? That would make sense, right? Or a colt. A colt is a young male horse that is typically under 4 years old. Does anybody see that that's an issue, or am I just like a weird guy who's like saying stuff on the internet that nobody understands? Am I crazy? Help me, baby, because I don't want to get because every time you speak up on it, some idiot tries to say you must hate black women, and I'm sitting here saying no, it ain't a hatred toward nobody. It's just me being honest. What do you think, babe?
Well, I think that what we're doing is we're calling out black women who doesn't seem to have a lot of love for themselves. I mean, just think about the names you call yourself. Megan the Stallion. You're calling yourself a beast, animalistic, which is a stereotype, right? That you're not even human. You just reduce yourself down to this animal type. Think about Cardi B. You're naming yourself after alcohol. There's nothing good come out of drinking cheap alcohol. Cardi B, what is it? That type of alcohol, it's even cheap alcohol. So it's just like how you name yourself is so important. And we know this. We know the names and the words and the labels that you put on yourself. These are self-inflicted labels. She came up with that name, or someone else came up with this name, and she agreed to it and signed up for it and said, that's going to be my name, Megan the Stallion. She knows what a stallion is. She's smart. She's got a college degree, Boyce. So she's smart. She knows what that is. So it's almost like you are willfully 100% participating in denigrating yourself, reducing yourself down to animal, when really she's probably a very smart, intelligent, beautiful woman who can be classy and be interesting at the same time. And I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting because there's so much talent, Boyce. I keep thinking about, I feel sorry for people who want to become famous. I feel sorry for someone like Keke Palmer who has this baby. And I know what it's like to have a baby. Your body doesn't look the same way it used to look. So there's all this, but can you imagine being a movie star where there's so much pressure on how you look? There's movie stars that I talk to, and they're just like, I had this baby, I gotta hurry up and lose weight. I gotta show the world that I still got it. You know, I don't know. It's exhausting. I've had a baby before. It's exhausting. 4 months after I deliver, I don't feel like going to no Usher concert. I want to go home with my baby. I want to hold and snuggle my new little person that I have. So it just, I can't imagine emotionally what you're experiencing when you're trying to seek out the spotlight all the time. And it's this pay attention. To me, it just seems like you want to do whatever it takes to keep the spotlight on you so that everybody can pay attention to you, so that you can feel relevant.
Mm. Well, you know what? I tell you what.
Meanwhile, your family is suffering. Her baby that should be her husband. I don't know why it's not her husband. Why is he not proposed to her? I don't know. But you have a baby with this man. You are forever tied to this individual. And here he is sitting at home with this baby, and you're out snuggling up under some Usher. Snuggling up under Usher.
Well, you know, well, he did say something on her Twitter, about her, something like it's the outfit, but you're a mom though. And I'll tell you what, I kind of felt like that's more of a private conversation. I think that for him to say something publicly was not appropriate. I think he could have hit her up in a text message or called her. But maybe the fact that he went public says that maybe their relationship, like a lot of the relationships where people have kids. I don't know why people do this. They have kids and then they break up and then the kids gotta have to grow up with separated parents. But um, it seems to me like they maybe they were having an issue and maybe that's why you had him decide I'm gonna say something on Twitter as opposed to saying something in private. And I don't know, and that speaks to kind of a deeper issue of, number one, you know what you're signing up for. I think that again, he's young, so sometimes young guys don't know these things, but I know that based on what I know, and this is why younger people, y'all got to listen to older people because the older guys and older women can tell you stuff to help you avoid a lifetime of pain and agony. I don't know why young people try to figure it out on their own. Like you're gonna just mess it up, honestly, and then you'll be like 40, 50 thinking, man, if I known then what I know now, don't be dumb like us. Like I was. But literally, I would say to him, look, you know what you're signing up for. She's an actress. She's got it. She's competing in this space. She's ambitious. She's got to be sexy. She's going to do all these things to try to stay relevant. She's only 29. Imagine how desperate things get when she is 39 or 49. And it sucks because it becomes this weird hell that you put yourself into where you're literally out here 45, 50 years old trying your hardest to keep up with 25-year-olds. That's a game you're ultimately going to lose. Father Time is going to win every time. What are your thoughts on that, babe?
Boyce, how would you feel if me and you
Don't
had a
even
baby?
don't even ask.
How would you feel if me and you had a baby and I go out in public 4 months later and be so disrespectful to you in our relationship where I am smooching up, hugging up, snuggled up under some Usher, his reputation. How would you feel? I mean, that's the ultimate disrespect.
It is, but
Committed relationship and I'm flirting with other men publicly and woo and woo and
you know what?
like, come on. With my
Well, well,
booty out. Like,
well.
I
First,
understand that it probably this dude hurts. It hurts.
yeah, it does. It does. I don't disagree. However, and by the way, when I talk, babe, I might have to mute you just because I do hear a little bit of an echo, so I want to make sure the audio is okay. But the way I look at it is that's why I would not date or marry a Kiki Palmer. It's like when I talked to Kanye West and I told him, I said I never would have married a Kardashian because that's what Kardashians do. Kardashians are always going to be Kardashians. You ain't going to take a Kardashian. You can't turn a Kardashian into a housewife. So maybe a Kiki Palmer. Kiki, unfortunately, you're right. She started off with this beautiful image of the Aquila and the Bee thing. She's still super talented, by the way. So she has not lost her talent. But we live in a world that encourages debauchery. We live in a world that makes fun of you if you have these ethical standards and calls you a square or a simp or a nerd or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you, those so-called squares, simps, and nerds, they tend to have better lives because they're not out here trying to keep up with everybody, trying to follow the crowd, putting themselves in dumb situations and degrading themselves. So I would, I get it. I would probably feel very disappointed if to see my wife, my girlfriend, my baby mama, whatever, up there doing that. But it's like, look, if you sign up for that world, that's the world you're in. If you sign up for that life, that's the life you're in. When I was talking about my buddy Willie D yesterday, and we were making fun, we were laughing about how people took that picture we took together at the wedding, and people were trying to say this and say that. Oh, she really wants Willie D. And we laughed because I said I did it that kind of shit a long time ago. I knew that I was marrying a woman that has a certain level of integrity, to the point where no, I'm not gonna marry no woman that's gonna embarrass me. And this is a message for all the young men out there. You have to be smart about who you choose to align yourself with. Keke Palmer is gorgeous. Keke Palmer is talented. Keke Palmer is intelligent. My wife is gorgeous. My wife is talented. My wife is intelligent. But my wife is not going to be on stage with Usher, booty cheeks alive, booty cheeks on red alert, trying to snuggle up with some guy in that kind of way. And so that's why, for example, when the little chatty patties on the internet ran off with that image of me, you and Willie laugh about that because I don't sign up for those kinds of situations unless I'm fully prepared and know what I'm dealing with. So if you sign up and you're marrying, again, if you're married, I use that term Kardashian because that kind of has a certain stigma attached to it or a certain reputation attached to it. If you sign up for that, that's what you're going to get. And people have to stop. They have to stop sort of thinking, oh, I can change somebody, or I can take what they've been and how they've been living all these years and then suddenly make them live the way I want them to live. I see women do that. They'll marry a rapper or an athlete that's got three girls pregnant at the same time and somehow think he's going to become this decent, wonderful, loving husband, loving, honorable husband. No, he's not built like that. That's not who he is. So you have to look at people's behavior and track record. So I guess if you were already doing that kind of thing before we met, which you weren't, you were a professor and a therapist. I've watched you for many years as a human being. I've seen you get hit on by rich men, thugs, NBA players, all those, and I saw how you carried yourself. That's what I wanted next to me as my wife. I did not want just a pretty girl with low integrity. I wanted a pretty woman that also had the values that I can relate to, that are going to show honor to our family. And I don't know. So for him, I would just say to him, if that were my son, I'd be like, dude, what didn't you know these things before you had a baby with this lady? Now this is your problem for life. So that's what it is. Men got to hold down their situations. Be smart about who you connect with. Don't let your penis drive you into situations that you're not going to be happy in. Go ahead, babe. I'll unmute that. I apologize. I had to mute you. It's the audio feedback. Please go
I'm
ahead.
all noisy. I don't know. Maybe I am noisy over here, but yeah, I mean, I think that people should listen to what you have to say because this is how your heart gets broken. This poor man. I mean, it seems like he should have. Why are they not married? Why did he not propose to her? Put a ring on it. What's
You
going
know, I,
on?
I don't judge people for making their relationship choices. I think marriage. I get it. I think that marriage studies show marriage is better for children. Stable families are better for children. But let's just keep it real. We kind of live in a world that is letting a lot of that go. Not everybody's doing that. I'm happy for the people that still understand the value of making that kind of sacrifice for your kids because they will benefit. But there are people that just don't. They were never raised in that. They never saw that growing up. So I think that you remember when we went to our friend's house and we saw the little puppies. I'm gonna tell y'all this story, and then I want Alicia. Alicia's gonna know what I'm talking about. We went to our friend's house, and they had these new puppies that were just born, and they were taking the puppies back into the bedroom. Remember, the little dog was like, the little female, the mama was like begging on her hind legs, like, please let me have access to my babies, please, 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 get my babies for me, right? The father was over on the corner chilling. The father was like, I don't want nothing to do with you or none of them damn kids. Like the father literally wanted nothing to, and he said, I watch. He took the little puppies and brought them over to the dad, and the dad turned around and walked away. The dad's like, no, like, but the mother's all over him, right? And you know what I figured out, babe? I think that if you don't have a certain type of home training, a certain environment you're raised in to help you have the discipline to understand what it takes to build family, a lot of us just end up behaving like those dogs. The mamas are doting over their kids because they're biologically wired to do that. The oxytocin in your brain is one of the chemicals that bond you with the child when they come out of your body. You literally would rather die than to lose that baby. The fathers, like, man, I got her pregnant and she's having a baby over there. The baby's mama's got it. I'm gonna go over here and just get some more girls pregnant. So unfortunately, I think that in this whole movement to be, liberated and everything else that we're doing and people just doing whatever they want, we're starting to really live like the dogs. That's what I just really believe. I think that that's what's being encouraged. Just do your thing, to get your Nick Cannon on, get a whole bunch of girls pregnant, live your best life. And I'm not even here to judge it. I'm just glad that old people get old and die so that I don't have to live in a world where we got 20 million kids being raised in an environment where they're devoid of the love and guidance of both a mother and a father. That's going to be absolute chaos. I'm talking about higher incarceration rates, murder, homicide rates going up, drug addiction, depression, suicide, all these things that come into play when the child does not have, when like that little girl never gets the validation of a father, the son never gets the guidance of a father. You're going to have some damn Lord of the Flies type chaos in your community, and there's nothing we can do about it. I don't think. I don't know. I think that train might have left the station. What do you think?
I agree with you. And I do think new moms doing something new, it is very frightening becoming a single person and then all of a sudden you're responsible for this person, this human being that's a little tiny little thing that's totally dependent on you. And I think in that moment you need some coaching. Like I was fortunate enough where I had a support system when I had my children that helped encourage me to, and of course I had a degree in high and a master's degree in social work, so I understood human behavior and I knew that bonding with your baby early on is so important. But you don't have to have a master's degree to know that. You just need someone to coach you along to say, listen, respond to the baby. You can't spoil a baby their first year of life. You need to give a baby, I say, 4 years of life, but early on, you have to be responsive. You have to be attentive. You have to be there for that child so that child can grow up to be secure. And yes, a mom and a dad, you teaming up together to help raise this new baby. It takes everybody. It takes not only the mom and dad, but it takes outside people to come and to help you so that you can form attachment. It's a good bonding experience with your partner.
Hmm.
And when I see images of mothers, real mothers who, what was that? I heard a noise.
Oh, that was me. That was just my door. Go ahead.
It shouldn't be doing that. But when you see images of mother, isn't Nicki Minaj is a mom? You see images of all these mothers and you see a transition. Who was that made that statement? Renee made a statement and said, these people are young. These women are young. When you're young and you have a baby, you really do need support and help so that you can grow and evolve. because having a baby is going to force you to grow. It's going to force you to stop thinking just about yourself. You're going to have to think about your child. And I remember like my mom telling me, and I'm so happy she gave me this advice. She said, you have to be careful what you do because you can grow up and you have children, and your children are going to hear rumors about you. They're going to hear rumors about you and all the things that you're doing. And I remember that kind of kept me in line, because I was like, God, I don't want my kids to hear all this ratchet stuff about me, So that kept me kind of straight and narrow. Of course, I had a role model, but I just think we have to start thinking long term and not just say, I'm going to shake it up while I can. You got to think about how your child's going to grow up and look at this.
Mm.
Social media is going to always be there. It wasn't like that when I was growing up in the 80s. Wasn't no pictures. Wasn't no pictures going around. Or even in the 90s, it wasn't, not much was documented. But now everything is documented. So you need to be very cognizant of the type of images that you put out there. Don't you think, Boyce?
Well, you know what? Here's what I think. First thing I think is I want to ask everybody, if you can, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching a late night episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, and my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, and if you would like to attend Dr. Alicia's wellness retreat, you can go to draliciawellness.com. And also, if you'd like to get just support in your journey to wellness, text the word wellness to 31996. Dr. Alicia, my wife, helped us to create the first ever Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School, where we are helping our people overcome the psychological barriers. They come to building wealth and building strong families and all these other things that we need as a people. And also, my website is boycewatkins.com. I'm going to be speaking in Seattle on July 8th. So if you'd like to join us for a deep dive training in Seattle, I'm going to cover my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And we're going to go in deep, 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 deep. So you can go to boycewatkins.com and you can join us in Seattle. You can fly in or drive in, whichever you prefer. All right. So thumbs up, share, subscribe. So what I want to do here is I'm going to do a little experiment. Y'all know me. I like to do the experiments and sometimes they end up pissing people off. But you know what? The reason you're mad is because I am making you think. And here's what I did. Okay. So I did a Google search, and I remember I was saying earlier too. I was throwing out this premise. I said, if you look at the top Black female entertainers, Lizzo, let's say you throw out Lizzo. Not these aren't the top, but some of the top. Lizzo, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and the Janelle Monáe's trying to work her way back in by pulling her boob out whenever she can. I don't know if she'd be in that top group, but it's her popularity. But if you look up, for example, Megan Thee Stallion, and a lot of times I did a search under Megan Thee Stallion sexual to see what images Google popped up. Then I did the same thing with the top white female artist, Taylor Swift, and I typed Taylor Swift sexual just to see what's the raunchiest, most sexual images out there of this, and is there a white privilege that comes with sort of saying that if you're white, you can sing, you could be like Adele, you could be like Taylor Swift, you could just show your talent, but if you're black, you got to be, stimulating oral sex. You have to be shaking the booty whenever you can. You have to, come out with your tongue out. You got to, be twerking and legs wide open, all this other stuff. And I know some people get triggered when we talk about this. And the goal is not to be mean. The goal is to just have awareness that you're talking about what racist media is doing in terms of what image of the black woman they're perpetuating throughout the world and how this affects all women. That if there are images of your top female black entertainers that are very degrading, then everyone will think, oh, black women love to degrade themselves. How many of y'all, give me a yes in the chat if you've ever gone through this, where you'll have a white boss who will assume that if he comes to work and plays some Cardi B lyrics, you're going to be down with that. You're going to be cool with that, right? Or he assumes that you identify with Megan Thee Stallion because that's how you people are, right? So you got to understand how entertainment is used to perpetuate various racial stereotypes and various images. Hitler did this to Jews during the World War II, and that's what got the Jews killed. Is he constantly presented images in media of them being less than human, being just these savage creatures, and then people started to believe that. Give me a yes if you can see the connection. So let me show you. So when I searched for Taylor Swift sexual, here's what I found. Right here's the page. So you look at the images. It's not. There's her. This is a pretty, I guess, risque kind of outfit. These are some images here. So I want you to look at this. This is Taylor Swift sexual. Okay, this is what I searched for in Google. Just random Google search. I'm a Ukrainian or something, and I just moved to the United States, and I'm trying to understand the difference between white people and black people. All right, now I did a search under Megan the Stallion sexual. Okay, so I want you all to help me to decide whether or not these images are different or the same or what. Pretty naive. I don't know. So let's see. I typed Megan the Stallion sexual. Okay, so here's what I got. First one here, booty out. This one is so bad. She's in bed with a white man here, apparently, or something. I don't know what that is. This is her with in the Cardi B video where they were engaged in a lot of, kind of lesbianish kinds of poses. This is looks like like a stripper in a strip club. This is her booty out. Um, booty out's a lot. This is her scissoring or something with Cardi on stage. This is another image. So I want y'all to ask. I want y'all to tell me. Type Megan or Taylor in the chat. Which images do you think appear to be more sexual, if not sexually degrading, or maybe a little bit beyond PG-13? Megan or Taylor? Which images do you think are a little more degrading or have a little more shock value? What do y'all think? And I share all that because, babe, I want us to kind of really be conscious of this. I want us to sort of ask ourselves, are these white-owned media outlets that are pushing these messages, and then some of their black co-conspirators, are they doing a favor in terms of the image of the black woman, particularly when you talk about the history of the black woman being portrayed as the mammy, the Jezebel, or the Sapphire? And maybe people just don't understand, and it's okay, right? People can disagree, but you educated me on the history of the black female stereotypes. Can you talk about that really quick? The I think you said the Sapphire, the Jezebel, the what are those stereotypes, and what I want people to kind of know what that is. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so the four stereotypes of Black women, you will see all Black women in media, they embrace one or more of these stereotypes. That is the whore stereotype. I don't need to say much more about that. That is the ancient mama, which is the total opposite of the whore stereotype, where the whore stereotype is oversexualized, hypersexual. The whore stereotype is if you are sexually assaulted, you deserved it because you were dressed a certain way. It's almost like a victim blaming thing because we know in slavery that women were often raped or sexually assaulted and they were blamed for that. That's what happened to Black women. So that's the whore stereotype. On the other end of it is the ancient mama stereotype, which is the friendly, the warm, the loving, the hugging, the nursing Black woman who's asexual. No man, you're single, your entire job is to serve white people. And when white women cry, your job is to wipe away the white woman's tears. So that's the whore stereotype, the ancient mama stereotype. Then you have the third stereotype, which is the sapphire. The sapphire is the woman who has an attitude, who's shaking her head and clapping when she speaks. You know that. That's the more modern version of the sapphire stereotype. She don't take no mess. She's sassy. She's got something to say. She's got an attitude. Attitude. That is the sapphire smart mouth stereotype. See that in media. So the fourth stereotype is the gold digger. I don't care about nothing. All I want is money. I'm a welfare queen, which is a myth, by the way. Welfare queen is a myth. So all about money, materialistic, so forth. So a lot of the images, a lot of the rap music is usually like the whore stereotype, the gold digger, and probably the sapphire all in one. So the three of them, we can see all the three of them in a lot of these images. Now, Boyce, you
What?
said that these stereotypes are awful because white people, when they interact with us, they see us through the lens of these four stereotypes. And so that's why we're being Black women in particular. By the way, Black men also have stereotypes. We haven't talked about that. We'll talk about that later. But white people see us, media, white owned media, see us through the lens of these stereotypes. However, what's even more damaging of these images
Mm-hmm.
is that we see ourselves through these stereotypes.
Mm.
That's damaging because in relationships, because I'm a couples therapist, in relationships, the one thing that is very unique among Black families is that it's these stereotypes of Black women and the stereotypes of Black men are internalized. So when I interact with you, Boyce, I'm not going to see you as Boyce. I'm going to see you through the stereotypes of Black men. And if you make a mistake, I'm going to say, it's because he's a deadbeat. Now,
Wow.
that's not how I feel about you. I'm just saying hypothetically, because the internet streets be messing up my words. But that's what's happening in our relationship. And
Mm.
when you interact with me as a Black man, you're internalizing stereotypes of Black women. And when you talk to me and you hurt my feelings, and I say, Boyce, you didn't hurt my feelings, you're going to come and say, stop being sassy. I'm not being sassy. My feelings are hurt. You're not focusing on the right thing. So that's the issue. It's the war going on in the homes between Black men and Black women, internalizing those negative stereotypes about yourself. And you feel that way about Black men, and you also feel that way about yourself. And it's degrading. That's why it's awful to see all of these degrading images of women who look like me, women I identify with. I don't want to see that. I don't want my girls to see that. I don't even want my son to see that.
Mm.
Because I don't want him to go out in the dating world and think, oh, Black women ain't nothing. I guess I'm going to get my passport and go be a passport brother. No, it's a lie. The passport brothers have been told a lie.
Hmm. Okay.
It's
Okay.
frustrating. It's awful. And white media knows what they're doing because it's working. It's tearing us apart in our families. That's why we're so stressed out with each other.
Mm.
We are survivors of so much hatred toward ourselves that we internalize them. And that's why we have a Cardi B. That's why we have a Megan Thee Stallion.
Wow. Well,
That's why we have Janelle Monee freaking out saying, let me just lift up show everybody my little tiny boob. She ain't even got nothing. My little boob. It's
Yeah,
the
I thought that was
desperation.
yeah, I thought that was really interesting that Megan, not Megan, I'm sorry, Janelle Monae did that. It's like it's kind of weird how I think that it's important to, at the very least, even if you don't agree with India Arie sort of speaking up on that, I think that we should support India Arie as sort of the the mother hen voice that some of these young girls might need in terms of understanding the bigger picture, right? I don't think the world should be run by a bunch of 25 and 30-year olds that are trying to make a dollar by any means necessary or stay relevant or fit in with their friends or be considered cool, right? I think that you hit a point where I remember Oprah talking a long time ago. I was young when I heard her say that. I was in my 20s and I heard Oprah say something about how when you get to be 40, you just don't care no more. Like all the stuff that you were worried about in terms of trying to fit in with other people and what people think, you let that go because you start focusing on yourself a little bit more. And I never forgot that. So I really think so. Sometimes I think that again, not to be dismissive of younger people or anything like that, but I think younger people got to understand you're going to hit a stage in your life where you're not so caught up in trying to be cool or trying to fit in or be quote unquote relevant. You'll learn discernment where you'll want to be relevant to the right people. You'll want to you want to fit in with the people that you identify with. And so, with Janelle Monet, it's kind of sad. I met Janelle Monet when I was on the Breakfast Club. I met Janelle. She was there. She didn't talk much. I tried to engage her in conversation. She was very kind of distant. Maybe she was having a bad day. I have no idea. But I just said, okay, no problem. We don't have to talk. But I thought she was in that classy category. Think about this, right? You have women that that you're hoping, like you're like, okay, look at her. She's carrying herself well, and you're proud of her. And next thing you know, she's pulling the titty out because she's trying to fit in with Megan the Stallion. You're trying to outdo professional hoes, right? And I just think that's a race to the bottom. That's a hard game to play. Like if you're trying to really match, it's like if you're a housewife and you're trying to keep up with the women that are, for the streets, let's say, the city girls, it's just not going to work. Like, remember when Derek Jackson's wife was talking about how she was trying to match what these women were doing in the bedroom and, watching the video and trying to just sort of do everything they do. And I was like, ooh, that's such a bad game for a wife to play. It's almost like, honestly, you know what it is? It's like if you're Bloomingdale's and you're jealous because you see Target and Walmart getting all the traffic, and you're Bloomingdale's though, right? Your prices are higher, your quality's better, you have a different image than Walmart. Bloomingdale's ain't got no business trying to compete with Walmart. And I really think that some of the women, that are in that Bloomingdale's category, the India Aries, where Janelle Monae I thought she was going, where Kiki Palmer I thought she might be going. It's sad when you see them sort of looking over at the Walmarts of the world. Not that Cardi B is lower value as a person, she's not, but in terms of just the level of commitment that a man expects to have to make in order to be next to you. Like when you look at an India Arie, she's not the average girl in your video. She's not, you can't just buy your way into her pants. You can't just sort of pay and buy a ticket or buy her bag of Cheetos and have her give you, you have her sharing booty cheeks with you. You have to earn that, right? Whereas Cardi makes it clear. Cardi's like, and I understand money. I'm a financial expert, right? So Cardi is the one who says, look, if you bring enough money, you can have whatever you want, right? Oh, I get it. Okay, so simple transactional relationships. No, I'm not here to judge that, but that's what I'm hearing, right? I wouldn't look at a Cardi B and see her the way I would see an India Ari. So I kind of wish at the very least we could at least have that distinction where we can kind of say, look, we don't need every black woman trying to like compete with the debauchery, the nonsense that's up there. And I think this is why black-owned media is important. Like you and I both know the really talented hip hop artist Akila Nihonda. You and I also know another great artist with Rock Nation, Victory Boyd. And Victory Boyd and Akila Nihonda are not artists that are gonna do any of this. They'll walk away from money to protect their integrity. They have done this. Victory's walked away from millions of dollars because she's like, I'm not doing all of that, right? And I think that those artists deserve to get support too. So maybe it's up to us to really not just speak up. That's why I do this podcast. I don't care how many people call me a hater or whatever. Whatever, you can call me whatever you want. I'm gonna stand up for those women because I think that we need to have that diversity so that everybody doesn't think that every black woman wants to be Megan the Stallion. What are your thoughts?
I was waiting for you to unmute me.
Oh, yeah, you're unmuted, babe. Sorry about
I
that.
got to sit here and wait for you to unmute me. Gold star to India Arie for speaking up. I was like jumping in my boots. She's in Bloomingdale's, but guess what? Bloomingdale's don't have no customers.
Well,
Walmart got all the traffic.
but if your revenue per customer is higher, then you can still make more money. Bloomingdale's or Louis Vuitton. Let's say Louis Vuitton, like the richest man on earth is Bernard Arnault, who owns luxury brands. So you can make as much money with luxury brands as you can at a Walmart, but you just got to make sure you know the difference. You will never see Bernard Arnault selling a Coach purse for the same price as a Walmart purse ever.
My favorite album by India Arie, because I can talk about her all day. Y'all want to talk about India? My favorite album got zero airplay, and it was called Song Versation. Y'all, listen to that Song Versation. I think that's the name of it. Best album ever. Boyce, you know I play it a lot. I play it a lot when we in the car and we got to play our songs. It's always gonna be an NDRE song, high rotation in the car, singing it loud on our way down to Louisville to check in on my mama and my daddy down there, my other mom and dad. So that is what it. She gets a gold star, and I hope that. It was really sad to see her call out what she saw was really low budget Walmart behavior, and everybody came down on her. So they shouldn't be mad at NDIRE for calling out, and wanting to uplift us and calling this stuff out the way she sees it. They should be coming down on the people who are degrading themselves and lifting them up, saying you're better than this. It's schizophrenic. It makes no sense. It's self-destructive as a community to think that you can operate like this.
Well, you know what? I think that us taking this time to have this conversation is our way of showing support for NDIRE, right? I think it shows that not everybody thinks alike. And that's what I do a lot of times. Sometimes I'll talk about something that I know is an unpopular opinion, but I just put it out there so that we, uh, understand that everybody should not just remain silent so you can go along with the crowd. I know sometimes I'll take some arrows, and I'm okay with that. You could throw arrows if you want to, but I know what I know and I believe what I believe, and that's not going to change. And I don't care what's popular, what's not, because I believe that one thing Black people have to understand is that trying to fit in and trying to be popular is a bad strategy in a losing culture. You don't really have a culture that breeds success. Unfortunately, you don't have a culture right now that breeds educational achievement. Because people think being smart means acting white. You don't have a culture that breeds strong families because the families are breaking apart like crazy. You don't have a culture that breeds wealth because your entertainers are encouraging people to throw their money away at every available opportunity. So you don't even have a culture that breeds health because you're encouraged to eat, terrible food, that's going to kill you, give you diabetes and all this other stuff. So I would encourage any Black person that wants to rise out of that and end up in a better situation. You got to shape your own culture, and it takes courage to do that. It takes a certain level of discernment, discipline, maybe wisdom to do that, and not everybody has that. I think a lot of us don't have the confidence. If I had a job, my job would be to give confidence to those of you that are sort of looking at this and saying, wait, this doesn't add up. Kind of what I went through, when I was 28 and I saw all the gangster rappers doing stuff that was getting people killed and on drugs. And I remember seeing DMX, and DMX was on drugs big time back in my 20s. And I remember thinking, this is not going to end well. These guys are going to be dead. I don't want to be like these guys, but unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of people around me to encourage me to live different from that. Most of my Black male friends were living like DMX was, with that, not so much the crack cocaine, but I did, I told you about that time I worked that job and those guys were using drugs and smoking weed all the time and snorting stuff and drinking and all that, and they just think that's okay. And then you hit about 40 and these guys are dead. A lot of them are dead, or they're still alcoholics, still drug addicts. They're not happy with their lives. They have a ton of regrets. And I would encourage everybody, every intelligent Black person out here, man, you got to rise out of that. The ladies too. Love yourself. You love yourself. You don't deserve this. So for every person that accuses me of attacking Black women because I don't co-sign on some of the nonsense, um, I send you to the depths of hell because I am defending Black women when I say this. I'm saying to Lizzo, like, look, you're talented, you're pretty. Can't you do something other than this, whatever that record label told you to do in order for you to stay relevant? But and you think about this, that's the nature of even if you look at pimping, the reason you have young ladies that get involved in, or get sucked in by the pimp or the manipulative man. It's because they don't have a strong father that steps in and says, no, my daughter ain't doing that. That she's not participating in none of that. I got her. I'm protecting her. So I think we need more of that fatherhood in the community. We need more of those male voices, and people have to respect those voices when they speak up. But I encourage those men that have those voices to have a level of compassion and respect for the sacredness of Black women, so that when you say these things, you're not sounding, like an inconsiderate, abusive asshole. And I think that's part of what's been happening is you have men that are just pounding away on the women in such an ugly way that it only makes things worse. So it's a tough balance, and most of us can't do it. I'll let you get the last word, babe. What are your thoughts?
Okay. There is nothing liberating in playing these stereotypes for women. You are a whole person. There's a sexual side of all of us. There's a sassy side of all of us. There's an intelligent side of you. We are born with all of these gifts of which we can share with the world. There is nothing liberating than being reduced down to these four stereotypes. And I think the ironic part is that it's being sold to us as if showing my butt and wearing clothes like this is being sold to us that that's real sexual liberation. Sexual liberation does not mean I only have to write songs about XYZ in
Yeah,
order to
that that
get play.
yeah, that's not sexual liberation. That sounds like sexual slavery.
Liberating.
Yeah, that sounds like slavery when you
That's
have to, when
oppressive.
everything has to involve like liberation is where you have a choice, but the
Yes.
slavery kicks in when it's like we don't want to hear about no part of who you are as a human being. All we want is booty cheeks. That's not liberation, y'all. That's slavery. I don't know. Give me a yes if you understand what the difference. Go ahead, babe.
It's very oppressive to be seen through that. What a liberating person is people like India Arie, who has an experience. She writes a song about it. It doesn't have to go through these stereotypes. She just writes a song, she releases it. It won't get picked up by payola, whatever the radio stations, but it's good stuff. And I will always listen to everything she puts out because I know I'm going to get a good product. When Sade comes out with a song, you don't have to think about it. You can know you're getting a good product. Sade, I have seen her in concert every single time she comes out with an album. She sounds better in person than she does on her albums. So does Stevie Wonder, and so does Prince when he was alive. So do all these other people. Like, this is what musicianship and artistry is about. Being able to show a range of things that are happening, expressing yourself in a way that resonates with everybody. Where'd you go, boys? Don't be leaving me. I need to see your face. Where are you?
I'm here. Something happened with my camera and mic.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm back. I didn't go anywhere, baby.
I can't talk without looking at your
Yeah,
face.
I'm her emotional support animal. So
You are my emotional support animal. I don't like flying. I do not like airplane. I love that you're becoming a pilot, but I am so scared. I got to get on the airplane soon, and I'm really nervous about it. So there's that side of me. There's a frightening side of me. Like, everybody has a range of feelings and the range of thoughts and the range of emotions and things that they are. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a student, I'm a teacher, I'm a therapist. I'm all of us. There's nothing unique about me. All of us embody all of these different aspects of ourselves. And it's oppressive for me to watch this happen. So I'm starting to kind of turn it off, boys. I'm starting to kind of like see it for what it is.
oh, I think that it's I think that one important clear point to make here is that I think we could walk away with this one as our learning point is one of the things that the music industry does to black people is it takes away your humanity. Like if you look at the difference, and they do this to black men too. If you look at black artists versus say Eminem, if you listen to a lot of the black artists, unfortunately, every song was selling dope, irresponsible sex, killing black people, and then going to the club after so you can go throw away your money and put it in a stripper thong. Like every song was like that. Every single song was the same. Eminem, on the other hand, he has songs like that too. He has songs about drugs and killing and everything. His one of his first big hits was actually about killing his child's mother, which is kind of sick, right? But if you notice, Eminem has a range that he pursues, and he's been able to pursue in his music, where he can 1 minute he's rapping about being on drugs, the next minute he's rapping about how he feels about his daughter, right? And that's the point. The question becomes, do we lose our humanity? When if you are talking again, you're talking about that whole sexual liberation concept. It's one thing, to liberate you and to say, just be who you want to be. That's liberation, everybody. I need y'all to understand the difference. Liberation means do your thing. Like Kanye West comes along. Remember, Kanye came along and he was rapping about being a college dropout. He's like, I'm not a thug. I'm gonna rap about dropping out of college. They were like, no, you're a black man. That you can't do that, right? If you were Eminem, if you were white, I think that they would have saw it differently, right? Um, but then so the thing is, like, if you're given that range to show every side of your humanity, your sexual side, your violent side, your happy side, your loving side, your thoughtful side, that's freedom. But when you are told that you must fit into the thug box, or you must fit into the hoe box, in every song, you do a song, you're Megan the Stallion, you want to do a song about, I don't know, let's say being a mother or something. She's not a mother. Let's say it's Young Miami. Young Miami's another one that went out and literally on that video was saying, I'm a whore, like with a W, like she was bragging about being a whore. But then when they asked her about her daughter, do you want your daughter to be a whore too? She's like, no, 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 she's not going to be. Well, no, your daughter, unfortunately, you're laying out the curse. You're laying out the generational curse, and you're selling your daughter because you're doing these things publicly for money. If they take away the money, you wouldn't be doing these things. So you're literally selling your daughter's future for money. You're saying, I'm going to go ahead and present this image to my daughter that's going to that's going to lead to a lifetime of pain, trauma, maybe some assault. Unfortunately, it's just terrible things that happen. When you're in that crazy culture, the hoe and stripping culture, bad things happen. And I'm doing that because some white guy is going to write me a check in order to do it. And I'm encouraging people to think bigger than that. So that's not liberation, y'all. That's slavery. Yeah, so do you understand the difference? Like, so that's it's the same thing. They do the same thing to the men. We're not just picking on the women. They do the same thing to the men. If you are a man and you claim to be an artist, and every song sounds the same, every song has the same message, the same whatever, you find all kinds of creative ways to talk about how you would love to kill a black man. You're not an artist, because artists are supposed to have free expression. You're not liberated, because liberation means doing whatever you want to do. You are a slave. You are a corporate product off an assembly line that's going to literally be exactly like the last one that was released. You're like, it's like the iPhones. Every year Apple's like, this year we have the iPhone 10, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 13. So every time you put out a song, it's just the same version, the same old song, right? Repeat it over and over and over again. So anyway, I want to say thank you, babe, for hanging out with me late at night. Oh, let me unmute you. I'm sorry. You got something to say? Go ahead, baby.
I do have something to say. I love the fact that you're talking about being put in a box. And what's so interesting compared to white people and other people, other groups of individuals? When you step out of that box, what's the first thing they say to you?
Well, they get on you. They whoop their black ass. Like, you better get back in.
No, when you step out of that box, remember, we internalize this stuff. The very first thing that happens when you step outside that box is they say, you are not black enough. That's what they say. So there's pressure to stay inside this box, because when you venture out and become who you want to be and express yourselves in other non-sanctioned ways, you're going to be labeled as somebody who's not black. And that's oppressive. And we do it to ourselves and to each other. That's the point I want to make.
I think it's a great point, and I think that it's interesting. It's like we do it to ourselves, but it's kind of like it's really like kind of it has a plantation vibe because Massa's ultimately calling the shots, and we're all competing to impress Massa. Like we're all trying to see if we can get in Massa's good graces, and then we go back and we brag to each other about how Massa likes me more than he likes you. Look at how many Oscars I got. Look, I got a Grammy and you don't. And I might have got a Grammy for doing something that's straight up just embarrassing to my whole family and completely debaucherous, but it don't matter. I got a Grammy. I made $10 million. I'm better than you because I've been labeled and branded. I have contracts with Nike and Louis Vuitton or whatever. All these white labels, all these white label companies. Like it's funny they have a business process called white labeling. We got a lot of white labeled Negroes that get because you've been white labeled extensively. It's like a bunch of little tattoos, a bunch of little logos all over your body. You feel like you're better than other black people. And I encourage intelligent black people to have the discernment to say, yeah, you're labeled and yeah, you got a lot of money. What did you sell to get that money? You got to be smart. Like then again, this is me coming out with my finance professor hat. You need to be like your mama was. Remember like how mom back when mamas were really into like where mamas were built different. Where if their son comes home and he's like, "Mama, I got $500 to pay for the groceries and to pay the rent this month." Well, a good mama's gonna be like, "Where'd you get that money, boy? You 16. How you get $500 in a day?" Like all because mama was smart enough to know all money ain't good money. A good daddy knows that, right? No self-respecting mother or father is gonna say, "You got $500. That's great," and then not ask any questions. But that's what we do. We see a celebrity, they go off to Hollywood, they start doing all kinds of debaucherous, sacrilegious, insane crap. I mean, getting involved in stuff that we don't even know. I mean, I don't doubt what people when they talk about the possibility of these sex rings and child stuff going on with children and drugs and all that. Hey, I mean, Hollywood's a crazy place, right? So went right up into the devil's punch bowl, literally the devil's playground, and then you come out with a pocket full of money. I'm supposed to look at you as a role model. I'm supposed to see you as a success. No, I feel like I need to do an exorcism because I'm trying to figure out what demons you got cursed with in order for you to get that money. Because deals with the devil always look good until the devil comes back to get his compensation. When the devil comes back for repayment, that's when you find Whitney Houston dead in the bathtub with, you know, after, getting high. That's when you find DMX sitting in the hospital on his deathbed. That's when you see R. Kelly hauled off to prison for doing only God knows what with little girls. Like that's what I need y'all to understand. I don't even want to sound preachy or anything, but it's almost it's like a spiritual thing. It's like there's something to be said, and I really hope everybody gets this, especially if you're on that paper chase, you're trying to make this money and all that. You got to protect your spirit, protect your soul. The best thing about life for me now is not having money. I understand money. I'm an expert on money. I've made money, but the best part about my life is like I can wake up and feel good about my existence and who I'm around and what I'm doing. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I feel good. You know what I mean? It's terrible to have $10 million in the bank, but your life, is like a complete mess. So just be smart and have discernment. That's all I'm asking everybody to do because I want you to do well. I want you to be happy. All right. Thank you, babe. Are we done for real? I didn't even unmute you. Here we go. I'm sorry.
I know I know you muting me, but that's okay. I'm just giving you kisses. That's okay. I can just go right into this
Well,
room.
let's get off this podcast so I can give you some kisses in real life. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all very, very much for listening to this episode. This is Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Could y'all do me a favor really quick? Please hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, Dr. Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. Her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. So if you're interested in getting to know what she does, she is a workhorse. She's written all kinds of workbooks that can help you. And she's really good on things like drama-free communication, drama-free families, just getting the drama out of your life. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like drama. And I, if you don't like it either, she's good with that. So feel free to go to coachingwithdralicia.com. Also, my name is Boyce Watkins, and my website is boycewatkins.com. And you may want to follow me on some different social media platforms because I just lost my Instagram. And so You know, it was right after I was reading Dr. Claude Anderson's book, The Black History Reader. And I don't know if it was when I told everybody that affirmative action has benefited white women more than anybody else. I think that might have been what got me banned. I have no idea. But I do have an Instagram that for some reason is still alive. It's the Black Financial Channel. So if you are interested in economics and finance, you can follow me on Instagram at the Black Financial Channel. Another thing you can do is if you, another way to connect or remain connected is if you want stock picks and stock alerts, profit alerts, you can get that for free. Just text the word stock to 31996 and I'll send you weekly profit alerts on stocks that I'm buying that I really like. And that's the way we can stay connected. And also we can help you. Our goal is to make you wealthier, smarter, and happier. So I hope that we're achieving that goal. So thank you all for hanging out with us in the middle of the night. And those of you who are watching the recording, God bless you too. And also you can find us on Spotify. Just look up Boyce Watkins on Spotify. You'll find us there. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.